Hi, I'm Carla Cannon, and I want to share with you one of my very favorite, most simple curriculums ever, and that is Explode the Code. Explode the Code is a set of 8 phonics workbooks that are perfect for children who are learning how to read. They are cheap, they're simple and easy to use, and many families who want something that's very simple and basic will use these to teach their children to read, paired with some good readers. There are 8 different levels, and it's important to know that the levels do not correspond at all to grades. So you can go to example-to-christianbook.com and look up the books and see the contents, and it'll tell you very clearly what they are doing in each book, and that's the best way to determine if it is the right fit and level for your child. So for example, when my kids are learning their letters and sounds, we use the Get Ready for the Code books, which is a set of 3. The Explode the Code books follow up on those and are good for any child starting in book 1 who are comfortable with all their letter sounds and specifically short vowels. And it teaches them to blend those 3-letter CVC, consonant, vowel, consonant, short vowel words. So, your child may be ready for book 1 in kindergarten. It may not be until 1st grade or whenever it fits. But the number on the book isn't super important. The second level continues with short vowels and adds in a whole bunch of blends at the beginning and ends of words. And then book 3, which I have here to show you inside, is where it introduces the silent E and how it works to make short vowels long vowels. The Explode the Code pages follow a pretty predictable pattern, and I've got a couple tips how to take a simple workbook and make it a fun thing that your child looks forward to. So, for example, this is book 3 where they're working on long vowels, the silent E, and vowel blends or vowel teams. And so they'll have a simple page like this where they give a very short rule. Then your child will practice reading, looking at a picture and reading some words. And it will go on to a page where, once again, they choose between a couple words. This page, they, read the word, circle the picture. There's room to write them. I want to note right away that I do not use Explode the Code for writing practice. We do that through copywork, especially when kids are young. So I don't have them write the words on every single page. Sometimes my goal is phonics, is reading. So we write on some of the pages, but if that is slowing them down, I just tell myself, you know what? The goal is reading, writing is separate. So you can see on this page, for example, my child, read the word, did not write it, and then just circled it, which was what I wanted them to do. Typically, on a normal day, we will do anywhere from 2 to 3 pages, and I'll make sure that those pages, even if I skip around just a little bit, are a combination of, 1 or 2 where they're just circling, and then only 1 page where they're having to write the words. Because remember that I'm using this with children who are learning to read, so typically those are younger kids. This is great for older kids who are learning to read, as well as it's not cutesy or babyish. So here would be an example of a page where, there's a picture, they have to read and find the word and write it. I did have them clearly do it on this one. Once again, sometimes we would write on this page. This day we decided just to circle. And then kind of the last 2 pages I wanted to talk about, and this is what we do. These were my kids. Well, first with my oldest, they were her most dreaded pages because they had the most reading and they were harder for her. Then with my other kids, I made it into a game and it just changed the whole thing. So on these pages, and these are applicable, even though this is book 3 I'm showing you, this is applicable to all the levels. The format is the same. So what we did on this page, where as you can see, there's a little bit, they read the sentence and then they have to check yes or no. For my kids, they would read the sentence, and then even if it was obviously no, like, can a toad blow its nose? they would check yes, because they just thought that was hilarious. And I'd make a big, oh, you silly, you know that's not right. And they'd consistently do them wrong because it was funny. It sounds silly, but it made a big difference on those pages. Then on the pages, this next type of page, which again is the most reading that they'll do in these books, is there are 2 sentences and they have to check the box that matches the picture. Well, when we get to this page, we always cover the picture and then they will read it and guess which is the correct one to go with the picture. And then if they get it right, they'll write their letter. And if I guess right, then I get to write, M for mom, and whoever has the most right by the end of the page wins. Silly, simple, changed our Explode the Code experience. The very last page of any given lesson is, and this is one that we do always consistently that I have them write, is it's the picture and then using the rule or, phonics thing that they've learned in that lesson, then they will look at the picture and write the word. So I like that it incorporates a little bit of spelling in there, which is really nice. And as I said, all the levels of books follow that similar pattern. These are very simple, but they're easy to use. Kids don't mind doing them, and they're effective. So even though I do use other programs like All About Reading to teach my kids more phonics things, there are many families who just use this and add some readers, and their kids learn how to read. So that is definitely a nice option to have if you are looking for something that is simple, easy to use, and very inexpensive. Just remember to look at the contents page online, either at christianbook.com. I found them for cheap there, or in Canada, you can go to the Learning House and they sell it as well. So you can do some price comparisons and then find a level that's a good fit for your child and just have a little fun with it, be a little bit silly, and you will find that this is one of the best phonics simple programs that are out there. If you and your children like Explode the Code and want something that's similar to it, by the same company, there is the Beyond the Code books. So these are structured a little bit differently. Book 1 is perfect for children who have finished, I would personally say, books 1 and book 2 of Explode the Code, because it is short vowels, but it uses different blends. And so what this book is it actually has a story. So there's a collection of about 5 or 6 stories, and your child reads the story. You can see they're not super short, but it's a simple text, and then there's some activities to do after it. So they answer some questions, there's a little drawing thing, and then there's also an opportunity to do a little bit of writing. So if you're looking for just a little bit more and you like the Explode the Code books, then I do recommend the Beyond the Code series as well. Once, like I said, you've finished book 2 of Explode the Code, you'd be ready for book 1 of Beyond the Code. And there's 4 of the Beyond the Code books. Once you've done, I would say, about book 3 of Explode the Code, you are ready for book 2 of Beyond the Code. So these are kind of, like one book lower than the Explode the Code levels. But we really like them. Once again, they're cheap, simple to use, and they have been really successful in our home.